And welcome back to the Irish Goodbye. I'm Shane. That's Jason. We have a very full uh, slate today, and so we're just gonna jump right into it, Jason. Unless you want to share any words of wisdom.
No, I mean we got our usual slate of items, and then we have some trade evaluations and trade grades, which are infallible and will not be questioned by the rest of the league. Our analysis of this. So let's get into it.
All right. So come up to the injury report. Looking at our picks for full health last week. Um, I had a great pick for best game of the week because it was
Mm-hmm.
the best game of the week. Um, so bottom of the barrel and superb owls
Yep.
definitely put on a show. And yeah, it was tight. It was competitive the entire way. They both had some impressive scores. And yeah, we'll dig into it more in training staff. But I feel good about that pick.
Yep. It was a tight one. Um, I had gone with the Collusion Bowl, which was a good game. Not as good of a game as what was, I believe, also probably the game of the week. As your selection was, there were some close ones. My game was close, um, but Troll Tolls, that guy, not the game of the week, but a better game than I thought it would be, especially since Chuck scored over 100 points. Sorry,
Always,
Chuck.
always a banner week for Chuck when that happens. So let's head for the blue tent. Um, I had Bare Naked Hades and Mad Dogs.
Yep.
Uh, just again, it was going to be an interesting one, and I'm proud to say that Bare Naked Hades lived down to the hype.
You could say that. Um, the only team to score under 100. Um, yeah, that was also my pick. I mean, could have been a lot different with many things. Yeah, a lot of game could be a little different with things change here and there. But the what was it, 40 something points from 43 points from Bowers for the Mad Dogs. That that did it, right there. But yeah, I mean, not really any horrible games, but this is definitely the least exciting game of the week. So I think we both picked this one correctly.
Uh, well, I mean, I agree with you, but let's jump over to what would have potentially been the other least exciting game of the week. To go into our training staff, this is where we select our heroes and our designees, and we start as we always do with my game because it's at the top of my list. So we'll look at the Cardinals and Points a Latte half cap. This was a boring game because
Rough.
I think it was in doubt for about 35 seconds into the first slate of games, and then
Hmm.
never again. And so a little bit rough, but
Yeah.
when we look at the heroes, the easy one to pick would be CMC, and of course with both of
Ugh.
our relationship with him, we could go with him, but I decided to go with one that was someone who was forced into service this week, and that's Kyle Manungai.
Yeah.
Definitely the hero.
He went crazy.
176 rushing yards,
Yeah.
22 receiving yards. He had himself a game.
Yep. He went crazy. And I think he was a guy who, yeah, he was a 13th round pick by Points a Latte, and he'd just been, I don't know if he had been slotted in at any other game this season.
I
Just
don't
been hanging
believe.
out,
Yeah,
which is testament to Points a Latte. I mean, when you have a team that's good, you can let guys just sort of like cool their heels on the bench without overhauling your roster all the time. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think that's the obvious pick is that a guy that you plug in and just hope to get something from, and he is the third highest scorer in your team.
Yeah.
That gets you that designation for sure. I mean, I'm heading to the other side. Your guys, I mean, a couple of options, I suppose, but really, I think you got to look at the promise of Bill Bill Krosky. The promise was not, he didn't just have the lowest points, but it was kind of a real dud of a game, and he also had did he? Oh, I don't think that was related to it. I thought he had some injury, but now I'm seeing that he appears to have some sort of tooth surgery that appeared. Seems to have happened. I don't think that was related to the game. I think that was after the game. But yeah, I mean, that's not what you want to see from a guy who's slotted in there in one of your top RB spots.
Yeah, he's a guy that I had hoped would give me something. And I've been riding the 27 points that he got in week 5 for 4 weeks now, and we have not earned 27 points in the 4 weeks since then. So
nope.
Probably not happening. Will I have to keep trotting him out there? Probably. And that's what this season is. And maybe things will get better. We'll see. But yeah, I had Bill as well. He definitely is.
Sadly.
So that moves us on to our next game: Chinese Waving Cats versus the Death Squad. This was another really close game, really good game. Also a game where the winner, and this is a weird phenomenon. This has happened far too often this year, where the winner of a game puts up a 0 spot. That just it shouldn't happen. It's bizarre, but yeah.
I'm glad it did.
Looking at the hero of this game, I'm gonna once again go with Rico Dowdle. I mean, I feel like he has been such a huge piece of your recent success. He is the reason why you're looking at a playoff spot right now. T. Higgins went off as well, so definitely an honorable mention there, and scored more points than him. But
he's been doing what he's supposed to do,
right?
What I'd hoped he would do. Yeah,
but Rico has just been, I mean, kind of unbelievable.
Man, look at that.
And the fact that it's taken Carolina so long after Chuba Hubbard came back to kind of put Rico and be like, he's probably
2
better.
wasted games almost. Yeah. Right. Well, not really. I mean, he had a pretty good game against the Jets, no touchdowns, but yeah, it's true. I mean, teams that aren't very good make decisions that aren't very good. So.
Right. But it's like, okay, so when we give him 20 plus touches, good things happen.
Yeah, we win the games.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I mean, it's no arguing for me on that one. I mean, without him, I'd be in the straight selling mode for sure. Like not even trying to balance things out, like just trying to accumulate the picks and such things. Where it goes from there, who knows? But on the other side, and this was multiple good games here. It was a pretty odd game all around. Like we had some huge scores and then some guys who kind of just did nothing. Like somehow, and will be my IR designee. The Chinese Waving Cats undisputed MVP did not show up. Jonathan Taylor, who I certain that I was going to be just get torched. I was hoping I could offset it with Daniel Jones, maybe, and so on and so forth. But to see that game end and him have not even 10 points was pretty unexpected.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair point. Mine's gonna be Jameer Gibbs though. And the reason why I'm going with Jameer Gibbs is not just the production, but it's also the usage. So this season, Jameer Gibbs' low touches has been 14.
Hmm.
He's got a 15, and then after that, it's 19 or better. He had 12.
Yep.
He had 12 on
Yeah.
Sunday. Um,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that's just unacceptable for a number of reasons. Also, maybe not surprising that Detroit, you're not going to win if you don't give
Mm-hmm.
Jameer Gibbs close to 20 touches. Like that's what he
Yep.
needs. Um, and so, yeah, I think for me, it's Jameer Gibbs over Jonathan Taylor. But yeah, just a generally a rough week all around for Ken. Um, just nothing great. And when you have I'm gonna Shamir
I
DK.
don't know. DK. Yeah. What?
I mean, good for him that he picked
Look
it.
at
He got
the
it. Cool, but
look at
like,
his stat line though.
yeah,
Like it's crazy.
it's
3 receiving targets, 1 catch, 5 yards, 16 points. Where'd that come from? All in the return game. But punt return touchdown, 215 return yards.
yeah.
Uh, I kept looking at the update and seeing his points going up. And I'm like, what is? He's not doing anything. And then I would look and see, oh, he's okay. Every time he gets the ball,
This is like
special
going
teams,
back to the
he's
days where we had defensive players and we picked
yep,
a cornerback who returned kicks.
yep,
The
yep,
Devin
yep.
Hester days.
Or seeing the defense special team combo with someone
Right.
returning a touchdown, or as flashbacks to those days. But no, I mean, yeah, either of those running backs, I think are fair choice, considering how solid and great both of them have been, pretty much
Right.
in tandem all
Yeah,
year.
better days ahead for Ken. I mean, like he almost
Yeah,
squeaked it out still.
yeah,
Even with the down week for them. So
yep.
he's having a good season. So that brings us up to the Bare Naked Hades and Mad Dogs, which was our pick for the worst game of the week. And as I said, Mad Dogs they had a pretty good week. Now
Well,
certainly definitely buoyed by the hero of the week, Brock Bowers. But I mean, you can't kind of turn your nose down at Rashid Rice or Lamar Jackson
no,
too. And so
yep.
like those
Even
three together, you can kind of put people
yeah,
around them. And good
even
things happen.
Williams. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, well, I mean, but Williams, like, I don't want to put him in the category of you can put people around him. He got lucky; it worked
no.
this
He
week.
is one of the
See what
people that
happens
you
next week.
happen to put around him. Yeah,
Um,
yep.
but yeah. I mean, just Brock Bowers. We've said it. You get 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. This
You're a hero.
creates 12 catches. 12 catches on 13 targets, much less, which is when he is healthy. I mean, Raiders, they suck pretty bad, but with Johnsey and him, they should be. I mean, with Bowers being healthy, they should be winning some more games than
Did
they
they?
have with their.
When?
Well, I mean,
Did they play
I think
top
if they
winner
had,
teams or?
I'd like they could have beat the Bears. They probably could. I mean, they should have won this game, even with Bowers and John D going off. Okay, maybe that. I think that goes against my point. Actually,
Yeah.
they both had good games and they still lost. So maybe they just suck.
Um. So let's flip it over. Look over at the IR designee. Um. For this one, I feel like it'd be easy to say Brashard Smith, but like obviously, like
Well, what do
he
you
was forced
expect from?
into, and like he was hoping to hit something here. Um,
Yep.
I think the real IR designee here is Kenneth Walker. Um, a guy that
Mm,
I think Ross expected a bit more out of. This is a
yep.
week where amazingly Travion Henderson had stats.
He
Um,
did.
put together something that resembled the game that you
He
want
did.
to see from a number 2 running back. But Kenneth Walker just hasn't I don't think hasn't put up the numbers that Ross was expecting to see from him this year. And quite frankly,
No.
I'm not going to put it all on Ross. I was expecting to see. Like, I think I was a little
Yeah.
disappointed when Ross picked him up because I was kind of eyeing him and thinking that this might be a year for him where he's going to really kind of cement himself as that like top tier RB2, maybe even a low RB1 type of
Yep.
guy.
Not
It's
quite.
just not. It's not there.
Yep. No. And he had a few good games early on, and then just kind of
Just yeah. I mean,
really fell off.
there's two games. There's two games there that was what I was expecting to see from him, and then everything else is not great.
Yeah. No. And I mean, those games he had to like he's been getting well. I don't know. It's like if he's not finding the end zone, and maybe that's the problem. So yeah, I guess you hope for more, but it's always tough in those situations with like the 1A and 1B kind of guys. I mean, unless you're the Lions, it works out great generally. But I think I was gonna go with maybe because he was finally featured. Trevion Henderson was my IR designee because he had it all out in front of him, and he had almost 13 points. That's good. 4 catches, second highest on the season, 14 carries, which is his most on the season, second most yards rushing. But, and maybe this isn't really on him so much, but the rushing touchdown that was scored was not scored by him. Some other guy who only had 3 less carries than him. So maybe this is not entirely his fault, but I think you hope. I know Ross was hoping for. He's the starter. He's gonna, do starter things. And he, it's fine,
Right.
but not what you would hope for in that feature back role.
All right, well, that brings us to our next game, Clitankerus versus Draft Day Champion 3P. Clitankerus just kind of, he continues to live, doesn't he? Like, I mean, like, it's just...
He does.
It's really impressive. I think both of us wrote him off when he had that really low week. A good majority of his wide receivers were hurt. It just... There did not seem to be a path forward for Clitankerus, and I thought he was going to join Bare Naked Hades and Mad Dogs down at the bottom. Although even Mad Dogs has shown a little bit of life these days.
Yeah.
But when we look at Clitankerus, I think the hero of the week is a guy that I think the NFL left for dead for a bit there, but they did not expect powers of Jacoby Brissett to come forward and resurrect Marvin Harrison Jr. Had himself a day. Well, I should say he didn't have a day. He had a first half, and then he looked like the Marvin Harrison Jr. that we've seen the past couple of years, and disappeared for the second half. Not that they necessarily needed him, but still, he pretty solid day. 7 receptions, 96 yards, touchdown, and just kind of again buoyed that wide receiver core that Clitankerus has to ride.
Yeah. No, I was in a very strange stat line. I was going to give it to one of the 2 legal professionals at Harvey and Dobbins law firm, RJ Harvey, who 2 carries, 5 yards, but 5 catches, 5 targets, 51 yards and a touchdown. Weird line, but on a running back light, to put it in a generous spin, running back light team. That is why he is where he is now. Like looking at the standings, he's 2 points above me. And he's 1 point out of being in 4th place. He started out so strong, and that is why he rode through the rough times,
Can
and
I point out
that's
a fun
he'll
little
need
stat
this
though?
from now.
With when we're talking about points right now, I believe on the season, Patankaris has 5 more total season points than me. I mean, like it's 900 whatever, and he has 5 more,
999,
right?
999.
Yeah. Uh,
Yep.
he also has 5 more points in the standings than me.
Yep.
That is
Hmm.
the most bonkers thing I have ever seen in my life. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about nearly 1,000 points that we've scored this season, and we're 5
Yep.
points separated there. But we're
Yeah.
talking in the tiny little, less than 20 points we've scored for
Mm-hmm.
the season rankings. Also has 5 more points than me.
Yeah. I mean, and the crazy thing too is those early big games. He has double the amount of top 6 finishes. Only one more regular season win or regular win than you,
Yeah.
but 6 top 6s, which obviously makes a difference. But yeah, I mean, the looking at the seeding of like if we just went with regular wins, this would be. I, I didn't. I'm saying this as if something to do because I have not done it. But it would be interesting to see in terms of what might be different if we took away that, because like I'm looking at, we've got some teams like bottom of the barrel has only 4 regular wins but 5 top 6 finishes, buoying them,
But bottom of the
and
barrel is
then
in 7th place, right?
yep.
Yeah, and they're in 7th place in the regular standings.
Wait, 1, 2, 3,
Right now,
6. Yeah, they're 7th. Yep.
yeah. Right now, the way, and you're looking at the Discord, right?
I'm looking at
Okay.
Chuck's standings.
So
Do they match?
1 and 2 are different because it's Points a Latte and Superb Owls,
They're flipped.
right?
Yep.
And it's only
And
because
then
of points
it's
on that. Then it's Chinese Waving Cats.
yep.
Then it's Troll Tolls.
Troll Tolls. Yep.
And
And
it's
then
Malcolm Death Squad.
we're flipped.
Okay, you and
Yep.
Clitankers are
The
flipped.
Tigers
Then
are
bottom of the
flipped.
barrel. Then me.
Cardinals. And then whoa, Mad Dogs is the
Mad
three
Dog.
three spots. Yeah.
Okay, it is, but it's not because it's just by
Well,
points.
it's points, but still.
Yeah, but still, I
I
mean,
mean,
no, but I'm
78
just saying
points
that like
separates.
it's
So
not.
yeah.
It's actually not wildly different.
No.
There's not a huge discrepancy there. So,
Unfortunately, Ross is last in both.
right. No, I mean, like
Um,
we want consistency though. Come on,
Unfortunately.
when you're bad, you're bad. So,
Unfortunately, I mean, I'll say I am just waiting. I was looking, trying to pick away. Are there any more trades that can be made? And I looked at Ross's team, and I looked at it, and even though I looked at it and said, I don't know if this team's going to win any more games, I still said to myself, it is still Ross, and I will not discount anything.
that's fair. I will though. All right. So now looking over at the other side, easy. Alvin Kamara. It's not like it's not close. He's a superstar name. Been terrible this year. He was really bad last week. Yeah, he's it.
Sorry, I was distracted by some upstairs nonsense. What? Who was your pick?
Alvin Kamara, the guy who scored .7.
Oh, yeah, that'll do the trick.
Hashtag
For,
analysis.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
all right. Yeah. No. I mean,
yeah,
there's no reason. We don't have to go into it. Like it.
he. I mean, just look at the lost fumble. He hurt his ankle. He scored less than 1 point. I mean, he's the guy.
3 touchdowns gets you a hero. Scoring less than a point typically gets you IR designate. That brings us over to best game of the week, bottom of the barrel, and Superb Owls. Looking at the Superb Owls, it was a good week, and actually it was a good week on both sides. So like choosing the IR designee. I'm not going to cop out. I am going to choose one. But it was tough because again, it's one of those things where you do first glance, and Ken's team actually looks better. Everyone's in double digits. It
Yep.
looks like a better score. Obviously, there's some higher numbers over on Josh's side. But I think IR designee is Sam Laporta. When you're scoring over 20 with your tight end, that tends to forgive a lot of sins of some of the other positions, and wins you games.
Yeah, especially since he's been juggling the uh, juggling the tight ends throughout the season, but now he's down to just the two. I mean, that's what you want to get. That's what you're hoping. That's what he's hoping that he would have gotten from him more consistently. Based on some previous performance. I mean, I was looking at, first of all, interesting starting two Colts wide receivers and both of them doing well.
Mm.
I was going to go with actually having been watch or kind of keeping an eye on Downs. I picked him up back in late September, and I was kind of like, because I watched a couple of Colts games and seeing him get a lot of, at least the ones I watched, a lot of targets, a lot of work like underneath, and I think in a game this close, I was kind of torn. I was gonna go making this rule up. I'm going with both Colts receivers, and both of them coming through. One Pittman with a bunch of yards, and Downs with enough yards, and the score. You put those guys together, and they are. If he had started any other, well, yeah, if he had started another, no, he still would have won. Yeah, I mean, those two guys slotting them in together, it can be tough when you are picking two players from the same team, two receivers from the same team starting together. But they both came through for the Super Bowls.
And then over on the other side, IR designee. What do I have? I went with Zay Flowers. Just in a 28-6 win. Miami was having a tough time. Has been having a tough season. I just look and say I would have expected a little bit more out of Zay Flowers. So that's where my pick for the IR destiny goes.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at, I mean, I think that's the easy choice. Like you look at some of these other guys, you say, okay, they got pretty close to their projections, and he did not. Like again, it's so close. Like if he had hit his projection, another 5 points. Well, he still would have lost with another 5 points, but it was close enough that if he had done a little bit more, then can't really fall into the other guys so much.
I mean, I think that's it. I mean, like, I think that's this type of game right here. Ken
That's
can
what you
just
need.
look and say he just needed a little more from each person. Like it wouldn't take much. And yeah. I mean, I suppose you know what? I think you've convinced me. I think you've pushed me off of the. I don't think that's.
Oh,
I'm gonna say Jaden Daniels actually. I think that's the right call. I mean that's the disappointment there, right? Because I mean, you have a situation where you're that close. You're within 6.5 of a victory, and your quarterback scores
under 20. Yep.
I think that's it. I think that's the IR designate, and coincidentally, he might be going.
He's
on
not going to the actual IR. Yep.
No, I think I
Yeah,
think that's the right call there.
pretty rough look for Dan Quinn too, having teams getting crushed. Daniel's already been hurt. It is like shades of RG3
Yeah.
out there. It's
Well,
something about Washington football teams.
and I think this might be the second time this year where we actually struggled to pick an IR designee for one of Ken's weeks.
Yeah,
I think
he's
this
had
is the
some.
second time. I think he's had a couple of bad beat losses,
Yep,
uh,
yep,
which is rough for him.
yeah,
All right, and that brings us to the final game of the week: Fat Guy in a Little End Zone and Troll Tolls. So looking over on Troll Tolls' side, hero of the week. We say it every week. He scored 3 touchdowns. Become the hero of the week. Drake London.
yep.
Welcome.
This one's got to hurt.
Yeah.
This one's got to hurt for Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, I rejoiced. It's always wonderful when you see someone hoisted by their own petard, but yeah,
Hoisted indeed. Yeah, yeah. And the especially when the return from that trade is going in the opposite direction, or at least in this game. Yeah, no, that easily 3 touchdown rule.
Yeah.
Drake London for sure. I mean, on the other side, I feel like there's I don't know. There's some couple guys in there that you're just like, I'm slotting these guys, hoping to get something from them. And in a fortuitous twist of fate, Chris Olave is my pick here because he wasn't very good, and Chuck got him in the trade, hoping to put a spark in his team. Now I think he's going in a different direction with some of these trades. After that, so sometimes the trades work out, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's inconclusive. I think in this case, this one, at least early returns are not as close as what Chuck might have hoped for based on
remember
his
solo
performance.
win with this multi-week.
He did do that. He did do that. Yep.
The other thing too, I will say, because I agree, it's Olave. It's not because it was like like 8.7. I mean, whatever. Like you want more from your number 1, number 2 wide receiver on your team. But that being said, I think the more concerning thing with the Olave stats is 3 receptions. That's what's concerning.
Yeah, that is bad.
He's a guy that has been getting numbers through receptions. He's been kind of
That's
of a
his
PPR guy this year, and 3 receptions is tied for his second lowest of the season.
His worst. And strangely, in that game that he got 3, he scored a touchdown. So he actually scored more points in this game.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, you hope it doesn't continue, but at the same time, it's not what you need, not what you're looking for.
All right, so we're going to jump on to full health, headed for the blue tent. One of the things though I was talking with my brother who may or may not exist this week, and we were talking about the playoffs and about the new playoff format. And so my question was, our question was how the consolation bracket worked this year. So, do we have a person who has a bye, as in the 8th place team, all the way to the championship of the consolation bracket?
Yeah.
Because we need to have those bottom teams play, because we can't just give somebody the pod right out of the season.
Right?
So it can't be the 2 lowest teams. You have to play for it. So is that how it works? Is 8 going to just be playing? They're going to get 2 buys, and they're going to play for the first round pick or the second round? They should automatically get the second round pick. I mean, the second pick overall.
Right. I vaguely remember this being discussed at the impromptu Zoom meeting. I think this exact same thing came up. And I think I don't remember exactly, but I think that was kind of the
It's got to be that, right?
kind of where it came from is like the kind of the, I guess not really reward, I guess, but I get in a way it is like you get locked into
The top two.
to that spot. Yeah.
Anyway, it just came up. I hadn't thought about it. So looking.
Hope it's not us.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, right now it is me. So right
Well,
now I hope it is at worst. So looking to next week. Looking for the full health, the best matchup of the week. For me, it's Chinese Waving Cats and Troll Tolls. It's a high ranking matchup. And right now Brian is making his push to be one of the top teams in the league, and so this is going to be kind of his first step towards that. If he can beat Ken, which I think looks good for him this week, but again, Yahoo loves Brian.
Well, they do.
Like the general real world NFL is not as keen on him.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think that was pretty easily my choice too. The other matchups are kind of, not a lot necessarily. I mean, you've got some that might be okay games, but with a little less at stake. This could flip depending on how it goes. This could put could flip their spots. I think it's definitely a game where Waving Cats will also be looking for some bounce back from some of their star players. So, I also will pick that one as well.
I will say, as far as like games that have some like consequence to them to shake up standings, my game versus Clitankerous has some implications there, as does recently back from the dead Mad Dogs and Bottom of the Barrel. There's some possibility of some really crazy stuff happening if I win and if Josh wins. The middle is going to get wicked muddy fast.
Right, like if you win and I lose and I don't get the point and you get the point, like you could hop over me. Like it's a whole, it's a mess in there, or it could be. We're just starting to see some separation.
Right, it'll be fun, but it's not a matchup of the week yet. I still agree that it's Bulls and Chinese Waving Cats right now, but it'll get real muddy real fast. And then if we're looking at headed for the blue tent, this one was easy because I looked over it and I looked at which game I don't care about, and I already know what the outcome is. And it's the number 12 team versus the number 1 team, Bare Naked Hades versus Poison Latte Half Calf. I wonder, do we need to play this game? Is it necessary?
Well, I mean, you remember when we said that about? Remember when we said that about Mad Dogs versus Clitankerous?
I may be saying that for a similar reason here, but I really think I think the question is not how much does Points of Latte Half Calf beat Bare Naked Hades by. It's how few points Bare Naked Hades scores. I think that's the new question. Question du jour.
Yeah, it's tough to see. It's tough to see.
Nope, it's fine.
I mean, maybe not for you. Someone who has won championships and has something at stake in terms of someone else who has won championships. But for those of us for the small market teams like my team and a couple others, it's just you see the. I imagine it's like how Pats fans felt in those 2 or 3 years where they weren't good. When it was just crushing to them that will we ever make it back to being relevant? And then they forgot all about that. And now they are talking about, getting Drake May's bust made for the Hall of Fame. So, who is, and fittingly, who the quarterback of Bare Naked Hades. So there's something there.
Say, one thing I look forward to is during rivalry weeks, having Bare Naked Hades score 183 points and absolutely demolish me after not having
Yes.
scored a total of
Yep.
183 points the 3 weeks before that
Yeah.
matchup. So I am
Yep.
looking forward to that, Ross. I know it's going to happen, and I'm sorry I'm dragging your good name through the mud, but that's where you're at right now. So it's not really. I'm just taking it for a walk.
Yeah. Looking at rivalry week. I mean, I know we're not. What that's week 12, so we're a couple weeks out. Really regretting my choice of rivals based on having Super Bowls and Waving Cats and the Cardinals, who can't. I will never discount the Cardinals, but
Really smart. Also, too, that's
having
about the time my team is
yikes.
projected to get healthy. So
Yeah, well, like that would be what would happen. Is that would be that's exactly what I expect to
yeah,
happen.
mine's more of a
So
mixed bag this year. So, all right, let's finish this off with our injury update. Injury update this week is going to be trade edition. Since last night was so exciting, um,
yep, a lot of action.
we need to recap. So as opposed to looking at who to pick up that you already picked up, also I'm sorry to all the people that I outbid on the people that I got, but
I was one,
Alec
but
Pierce,
fair.
Alec Pierce and Devin Singletary are on better teams now. We'll take a look at the trades, talk about what we think about them, try to break them down with our expert opinions. So our first trade, the highlight was Ashton Genty, and so Ray's Point Latte half cap got Ashton Genty, Cortland Sutton, a 9th-round
Jeez.
pick, and a 13th-round pick, and fat guy in a little end zone. Truck's team got Juwan Jennings, David Montgomery, a 3rd, and a 7th. Initial thoughts, Jason.
Initial thoughts are we are screwed because Points Latte was good already, and now we are toast. Especially because Sutton is good, has had some down games, but has had some really good games, and just adding those two guys into Points Latte roster, like even not getting into the picks, I think the picks are kind of. It's the first time we're doing it. I am not smart enough to value, you trade a 9th and a 13th for a 3rd and a 7th. Well, at face value, obviously a 3rd and a 7th are better, but it's Chuck's going for the picks over the players, but he had to get someone in return,
12 rounds.
So I mean, real good pickup for Points and Latte. I mean, I get to a point where, not that it's really even a criticism, I guess, but you get to a point where you kind of think on his team, like, how do you sort the people you want to keep on your team for keepers, because it's an embarrassment of riches over there.
So one of the things I like to do when I'm looking at kind of the draft and thinking about like the difference between certain things, I like to look at this year's draft and just see what the difference between like what was it, a 3rd and a 9th?
Yep. Oh, yep. Well, the ones really, I was a 9th for a 3rd.
Okay.
13th for a 7th.
So if we look at a 9th for a 3rd, you're talking about kind of the James Cook, JSN, Trey McBride, a bunch of quarterbacks went there. Mike Evans, Kenneth Walker, and then you look at the 9th round. You're talking about Tyler Warren, which hit, but then like Jaden Blue, Javonte Williams, which hit, Keon Coleman, Nick Chubb, David Njoku, Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson Jr., Dak Prescott. I mean, like, so there's a huge. Now, granted, people I did not read off: Javonte Williams, Cam Scarborough, happened to be there. Like,
but a rookie.
So, but it's just, I mean, like the hit percentage is just so much higher. You're talking about
very low, obviously. I mean, 6-round difference.
And so I mean, like, but like, there's 2 6-round differences in there. So I think huge pickups by for Chuck for next year, kind of reloading. And honestly, Ashton Genty, we still think he's going to be great, and he's shown some flashes here, but it hasn't been kind of the rock solid performer, and like he could disappear real quick. And honestly,
Oh,
the way the Raiders season's going,
it's possible.
like if
Shut him
there's
down.
any
Slow him
mix
down.
there, like he might get put on the shelf.
Yeah,
So I think
it's possible.
there's a real danger in that. So I like the value that Chuck got out of there, and I got to be honest with you, if I'm looking at this, I really think Chuck won that trade.
Well,
I think it helps Ray. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad trade for him, but if I'm looking at it and
well,
evaluating it, I think Chuck got the better side of it.
so I guess if you look at it from the perspective of who Points Latte is already a really good team, and who increase their, if you look at their spots right now and what they're, what the realistic situation is for them right now. The one who, I guess, improved their team going forward, before things were just kind of a mess, and it would be Chuck's team. So, and that's not to say that obviously, you're a Gibbs injury away from Montgomery being the guy.
Well, I
Juwan Jennings has been hurt most of the season. But some of these things could put him into a position where his actual draft standing perks up a little bit over the course. I mean,
I just have no
I don't
trust
know.
in Cortland Sutton too. He's burned me too many times, and like that offense has burned me too many times. That like I've got no faith. But that being said, again, I think it was a good trade by everyone, but I think Chuck got a haul for Ashton Jennings.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, getting a third, obviously, really good. Even the seventh. I mean, we saw this year. Look at where the Troll Tolls are at, and they took what was that the ninth? You said Javon Williams, was that the ninth?
Yeah,
Or the seventh?
Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy.
The
Javonte Williams.
seventh round, you're looking at notables such as the Chinese Waving Cats' amazing seventh round pick of Jaden Higgins. But then after
Who could forget?
Jaden Higgins, you've got notables as Travis Kelce, Rasheed Rice, Jordan Mason, Jalen Warren, J.K. Dobbins. So I mean, like, there's still value to be had at
Yeah,
this point,
yeah.
but certainly better than a 13th round pick.
Well, yeah, right. That's just like a toss in, basically. Let's even out the picks, kind of deal. I'll get to you get to.
So we'll jump over to the Jamar Chase and a 12th traded to the Superb Owls for AJ Brown and a third traded to me. Cardinals. We'll go through mine relatively quickly because I don't need to belabor too many points here, but I'm interested as your perspective on this, Jason.
Well, as someone who's familiar with trading away their first round pick, I got to say it takes a lot of courage to do it, especially when they're not hurt and potentially coming back when they're performing. But I do think that I think even if he doesn't, I think I kind of two different thoughts. If AJ Brown, I mean, I think that we've seen that he can be a really good receiver. He's getting a lot of targets, generally speaking, but then sometimes he just kind of like not there. And I think getting him and a third for where your team is, with Chase, you were having issues winning.
Really,
to put it,
really
to put it kindly,
saying how terrible I am.
to put it kindly, so if you get Brown, he has I think a chance to, if the Eagles can figure out whatever they're doing, to be good. He's got a good schedule, and you get that third round pick. I mean, I think it's kind of a toss up. Like who I feel like Super Bowls wins the trade because they get Jamar Chase in the trade.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think the return for you is Brown is really solid. I feel like if he gets like traded or something in the offseason, or if something happens, he could be a potential keeper guy. Like,
No, I think he's too high
you
up
know,
to be a keeper. I think that I think he
oh
would have to
yes,
be might have to. He's a first round.
he
He's a
was.
first
Oh, he was a yeah,
second round.
yeah. He was
So he's too high.
second round.
But I think
So you're not
ultimately
gonna do that.
here's the reason why I made the trade. Jamar Chase is not 9 rounds better than AJ Brown.
That is true.
That's it. That's end of discussion. Like that was the reason why I think that there's everyone's fragile in the NFL. To me, I don't think I necessarily lose that much.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's a
Yeah,
possibility of upside there where I don't even notice. Um, I think that's wishful thinking, but
yeah. That's don't even notice might be a
right.
stretch. But the drop off versus the having another pick in the third round, which we've already established some of the talent in the third round. Um, it's you making a hard choice, but you're going to have value waiting in the draft. Next year.
Speaking of the third round, I got
Yep.
Tony Pollard in the third round pick for Tyler Ward.
More third round picks. Look at all these third round picks you're accumulating.
So for after this trade went through, Chuck and I owned half of the third round picks between the two of us.
Yeah. Yep.
We own 50%. That's going to change before the end of the night here. But tell me what you're thinking about getting Tyler Warren and a 6th round pick. Tell me your thought process on the trade there.
Well, I think I had some. I obviously my big one was Kraft goes down. And I'm glad that I picked up Gadsden. He's been really good. I hope he continues to be really good. But my wide receiver core has been up and down. And I wanted to get another guy in there who basically gets wide receiver targets, used like a wide receiver. Hoping that stays that way, hoping this past week is not a barometer of things to come. But basically looking at that and saying, now in this case, would you say, based on how the season has gone, is Warren 3 rounds better than Tony Pollard? And I would say debatable, but I'm biased and I would say yes, because Pollard just kind of sucked. And now he's sharing time with Spears, who came back. And I just basically said, I need a receiver, and I can't really find a way to pry away a wide receiver from someone else for what I wanted to give up. So, you broached the subject to me, and I said, let's do it.
I'll be honest with you. This might have been the mistake trade of the night. I mean, I know a lot of people think that the Godwin Vidal trade we're about to talk about is worse, but I kind of forgot that I was planning on keeping Tyler Warren as my keeper because he was like a 9th round pick, and so I'd have kept him in the 8th, and that would have been like amazing.
That would have been.
Didn't think about that. Again, I was a little trade drunk at the time. I was riding the high of getting 9 rounds for Jamar Chase. So
yeah.
And also I think there's a weakness when you're not thinking about like we haven't done trading picks and things like that. I think people forget how valuable the third round is. It's not the round 1 and 2.
Yeah, there's a big swing there.
Right. It's
talent.
An easy one to get people to trade, feeling like they're okay with it, but not realizing the value that you can find in the third round. And especially if you stock up on them, you can really you can take some stretches there too. And so there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of availability there. So with that, I was really I do not care about Tony Pollard. I'll keep him on my team for a little bit.
Me either.
I was I told Jason to give me whoever he wanted to. I didn't care if it was someone I had to drop. I'd drop whatever. But yeah, I was really
No,
looking at
phase me.
picks there. I have Hawkinson. He's fine. He's serviceable. Um,
Mhm.
and just thinking about making sure I was maximizing value at the time. But again, like I said, I wasn't thinking about the keeper part, and clearly that was a mistake because right now, as Jason and I talked about before we went on there tonight, uh, I have no idea who I'm keeping, and apparently Brian said I don't have to keep anyone, so that might be a possibility for me. So you know,
Yeah,
that's the thing.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think looking at the difference in even where these guys were drafted. I drafted Pollard in the fifth round. So there's a 4 round swing. I mean, not saying that I will keep, in keeping Warren, but I do think that there's this extra level of, you know, not just looking at the picks you're trading, but you look at, okay, the player
Yeah,
trading for, where were they picked versus your player, and what is that role? Because again, we look at this at face value, and especially in this league, you see running back traded for tight end. Well, that seems, that there's
well,
this like
yeah, but come
mental
on,
block
yeah.
of like,
I
why
will
would you do
say,
that?
let me say why you won this trade really quickly. I think Tyler Warren has a real chance of being a third or fourth round pick next year. And so by getting him,
Yeah,
getting a sixth round, you're going to use your eighth round pick for what would have been a third round pick. And
yep,
then now you have an extra six in there. So
extra six.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that you could
kind of
argue that even
split the
draft
difference.
pick wise, you came in on top there.
Yeah, I definitely considered all of this in my brain before I
Yeah,
made
yeah, yeah.
before I made the trade.
And then lastly, we've got Chris Godwin, and a third round pick, for Vidal and a fifth round pick. Mad Dogs getting Chris Godwin, Cardinals getting Vidal. I'll be honest with you, I offered a worse pick than this, and then realized how stupid that was. But my argument and my justification is I had 3 third round picks at that time. I'm not
Yep.
as worried. I was thinking about the draft capital and like really kind of just like trading parts of the pieces that I had traded earlier, um, and using that to leverage to get Vidal. My argument here is I don't want to give up on this year yet. I still have Amari and Hampton on my IR.
Yep.
And this was my way of kind of balancing out some of the trading away talent, to be able to give me an opportunity to still compete, and put myself in playoff picture, and if not that eighth
Mhm.
place position. And then also having no faith that Chris Godwin's going to be able to stay healthy at any point this year.
No, no. I mean, honestly, it's hard to imagine just seeing how this is playing out. Like it's hard to imagine they don't even expect him to come back until like potentially potentially this week, maybe, but probably not. And then, I mean, this it just does not seem like a good situation. And I guess when you're the Mad Dogs, you can take advantage of, you get a third, which you had a bounty of third round picks, and you hope that Godwin can. I mean, it's every receiver over there is basically hurt, so if he can be healthy, then it's a good spot. But he definitely needs some wide receiver help. I mean, he's got Rice, who's good, obviously. He's got Metcalf, who started out good and has had a lot up and down. It could be good. It could be good. And same with Vidal. Like, he started out strong, fell off. Started out, had another good game, fell off. Is that going to continue? Can you get something out of him until Hampton comes back, and hope that Hampton is back up to speed? You hope that it matters at that point, uh, as well. Um, I mean, we all do. I mean, I shouldn't be. I'm talking like I'm in some great position over here. A couple of bad games, and everything goes down the tubes. So
Well, we
I mean,
remember like second to last week, so that could actually. There's a very distinct possibility that
yep,
decides a significant swing in this league, whether it's playing for the podcast, whether it's playing for position, for playoff
yep,
position. Like there's possibilities there. But I will say, again, my hope is to sneak in and get lucky. That's where I'm at right now. That's my mindset, and then hopefully better prepared for next year, better position.
yeah. No, I think so. I mean, looking at these trades as a whole, I think the trades that you made set yourself up for continued competitiveness within this season, and I weigh that against and the trade we made as well, for both of us. But if we weigh that against the points of latte and fat guy trade, I think that one is much more of a one guy strengthens his already strong team now. The other guy says, "I'll take a couple guys, but I'm looking forward to next year."
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. There's an insignificant number of draft picks that have been traded this year. So but it hasn't been like obscene. So it will be interesting. It will be interesting to see how this all shakes out and what the rest of the season holds. And hopefully for me, it holds a few more wins to be able to secure my position in 8 or better. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, more wins would be good. And we got a good amount of time before the actual trade deadline. What's 10 days? I think.
Yeah, I believe it's the 15th? Next Saturday.
Yep. So who knows what else we will see here? I know I mean, I've had some conversations that haven't materialized. I think some people are poking around trying to feel there's some people that I expected to have been poking around a little bit more. Maybe we just aren't seeing any results. Maybe the conversations are ongoing, but I expected to see a little bit more action. And there's still time to go. We've still got we've got this week. So we've got this week's set of games, and then it's the following Saturday. So maybe people are waiting to see how things go this week, or who knows if we get any more action going on. It sounded like you were previewing that there might be some more picks moving. A little bit ago, something about waiting to see if something's moving tonight. Maybe I misheard that or misunderstood
Yeah, I think you misheard
that.
But I don't have any.
Okay.
I'm not trading.
Thought you had something cooking.
I'm no. I'm I don't really have anything else to trade. So the well has run dry over here. I mean, it's still open for business and everything, but I'm just not ready to give up. So I suppose if this week goes horrible, you might see a flurry of trades again next week. So where we go, full rebuild.
Right. Well, I'm in a spot where even if this week goes badly, I can't really say that I'd want to sell off. So I'm kind of I think stuck in a. If anything happens with the trade, I don't think it's going to be anything major. And then the deadline will be gone by, and then my team will start completely falling apart, and I'll get nothing out of it. So
all right,
yeah,
tracks. All right. Well, I think that does it. This was a real tight hour and 4 minutes. Everyone,
extra features.
Yeah, I mean, look, when we go nuts on trades, like I said, we were building content. So this is all about the product that we're putting out here, and we believe in it, and are excited to be able to share it with you. So I'm Shane. That's Jason. This was another delightful Irish goodbye. So goodbye.